So, welcome back to part 2 of Black Widow. I'm Hobbs, let's train this pony.
Oh yeah! You gotta get sweaty! You gotta get sweaty in here! It's time to get sweaty!
This video is brought to you by CyberGameway, with an emphasis on exposing streamers of all types, as well as exploring business relationships with partnered websites and service providers. CyberGameway is the place you want to be for streaming gamers who want that sub bump. To apply for membership or sponsorship, head over to cybergameway.com.
So, when last we spoke, I took apart a laptop, because that's what I'm doing these days. And today we are going to get to work on modifying this thing. So I had an idea. This is going to have to stay on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask around it. And then I don't know if I'm going to leave this as is, but we'll get to that. So what I'm going to do with this is you'll see that I've traced this with, I put some contact paper on here. And I'm going to cut this out, which is why it's called Black Widow. So it's kind of got that Black Widow hourglass shape to it, which is, you know. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to spend some time cutting this open with my Dremel. And then on this side, I have an idea for that too. I figure since I have so much left over, I can use some of this carbon fiber, this carbon fiber vinyl wrap that I have from the Commander build, which you are going to see in a couple of months, which is done. So I'm going to slap some of this on here after cutting it. Then I'll mask off these parts here, make sure that the Strix symbol comes through. And so because of that, like I said, I'm not sure what I want to do with this part here. I'm leaning towards painting this either black or red and then doing the carbon fiber on this thing too, but I'm not sure. Because one of the things that I'm going to do is, once it's cut, once the vinyl is put on there, I'm going to take some trim tape, which you can get at any auto store, and I'm going to sort of follow the lines of the Black Widow thing and just kind of make an hourglass thing right here. And maybe go a little bit past it, because I think that'll look cool. And then what I'll do is I'll use that stencil. We're calling it a stencil now. I'll use the stencil and I'll cut into the carbon fiber vinyl so that behind it you'll see the brushed aluminum. So I think I'm gonna have to play that one by ear, because I kind of want to keep this as is, but I don't know yet, so we'll see. At any rate, another thing I'm going to do is with this thing, with the base of it, as you can see, you have to peel this part off, and then underneath you've got these screens here, you've got another one over here, and then here is where you put the RAM, and then here is where you can put your M.2, and then right here is where you put the hard drive or the SSD, which is going in there. And so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to stencil here. I'm going to draw some Sharpie in there, and then I'm going to cut this out and put some like 16th inch plexi in there, which I got from a poster frame. And so that's going to look pretty cool, I think. It'll have this neat little window thing going on, and once it's all painted, which I'm going to paint sort of a deep red. Got this from Hobby Lobby, which I can't stand. But, yep, got this. It's going to be a nice deep red. This will sort of pop. I'm going to sand this a little bit so it gets a little bit smoother. And then after that, things will start coming together very nicely. After that, we put it all back together, and Bob's your uncle. Oh! You might be asking yourself what this is. Well, this is what's going behind this. And you might be asking yourself why. Well, because once these are cut, I'm going to put that same 16th inch plexi on top of it and make a window. So behind it, you'll see this red circuit board. And since there's kind of this good 1/4 inch space in front of it, if you peer into it, you'll see a lot more, which is why it's so big. So that's what we're going to do today, and time to break out the Dremel. So now what we're going to do, now that we've got all this done, I'm going to file the crap out of this and make sure the edges are a bit more straight, because it's, you know, me. And then after that, it's measuring out the tiny little plexi that I have, slapping that on there. Actually, what I'm going to do first is paint it. I'm going to sand it up and then paint it, and then we will get to adhering the plexi on here, which is going to look, it's just going to look so sweet. Yeah, that's going to look really cool. I'm starting to get some ball sweat going on. That look good. Just as a mock-up. That looked cool. So, now that we've got all of this cut, which shouldn't take nearly as long as I thought it would, which is cool. Now that we've got all the cut and we've got it sort of ground down and shaped, next just comes some light sanding, which I just gotta grab my sandpaper and some sanding on here. It's not gonna take much because it's already kind of textured, but I just want to make sure. I need to take these off, which I'm not looking forward to. I need to mask this off, the subwoofer, quote unquote, and then it will just get some airbrush to it. It's a little cold for spray paint, but this'll take pretty well. So the reason why you sand, and especially metal and plastic, the reason why you sand it is because it scores it up just enough so that the paint sort of soaks into it and it sticks. And then after we're done painting this, it's going to be a nice deep red. I'm just going to spray paint some, like a matte clear on top of it, this stuff. Or maybe, well, it doesn't need to be very shiny. So basically I'm just going to go, and that's it. This whole thing is going to be, except for this thing here, this whole piece is going to be red. I'm going to have to tape that off too. Or maybe you can just take it out. I bet I can take it out. I'll worry about that later. So one of the things that I did, I pulled this off. It's got the little Strix logo underneath it, and I sanded it really much miss words. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to like polish it off, and then it looked like shit. So I sanded it more. Danielle had the idea of just kind of making it look like I did it on purpose. So I did. And now it went from kind of, it went from this to this. And I think it looks pretty good. So I might actually do even more of this. I had thought of like painting it or something, but I don't think I will, because it actually kind of looks cool like that. And especially since like it's not going to be shiny or anything like that anymore under the paint. So I might just keep going on that. So yeah, so order of business is to start masking. Perhaps it's not going to let me.
Did you already try that on the other painting?
I did not. Wait, yes I did, but it was for not. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now it's coming out. Yay! Get in! There we go.
Little bitch.
That was much easier than I thought it was going to be. It does help to have the right tool for the job, ladies.
Okay, this is probably gonna be his last video, guys.
She's gonna kill me. This reminds me of a story. When I was in the Army, we had to keep our tanks in very, very pristine condition whenever possible, unless we were like out on maneuvers or something. And I had when I first got to Fort Riley, I was assigned to 3rd Platoon, 3rd Platoon 134 Armor, and that was cool. It was the platoon leader's tank. That was great, a lot of fun, great unit. And then I got moved to 1st Platoon because they didn't have a driver. So the tank that I became a part of was the 2nd tank, which was the Master Gunner's tank. That guy knew about tanks. The tank, the driver who had previously been a part of that crew had gotten stabbed. I think I told this story before. He had gotten stabbed. Yeah, I did tell this story before. The story about Skittles. The story about how I had to go in there as soon as I had been assigned to the tank. I had to go and repaint all the nuts and bolts in the turret and the driver hole because he had taken it upon himself to paint them all different colors, which is why they called the tank Skittles. Now, it was basically a nickname because every tank in my unit had to start with a D because I was in Delta Company. But yeah, Skittles. So that was a good 3-day project I had to undertake in repainting every single nut and bolt because our incoming captain didn't find it too funny. I loved it. I thought it was cool. I was all about personalization. I was the one in my unit who, after I graduated basic training, I got these COS speakers. COS is, they used to be pretty big, but they're not anymore. They're actually based right here in Milwaukee. So I got these powered speakers, which I have tried to find ever since I discovered eBay. There's a couple of times you'll see them pop up or something, but anyway, I got these powered speakers after I graduated and went to Fort Riley. And what I did was I put them on each side of my driver's seat. And then so whenever I'd be driving the tank around or doing any kind of work in there, I had like Anthrax and Slipknot's very original album, Mate Feud Kill Repeat, because I'd been a fan when I was in high school. So yeah, that was a big 3-day undertaking. But so I was the one that like wired speakers into the tank. And before that, I had to do that because before that I tried cannibalizing like a headphone cable. So what I did was I wired it so that you could listen to it in the CVC helmet, and it wasn't anywhere near as good as people say it could have been. Nobody in my unit had ever done it, but I tried it and it didn't sound very good, because even if you turned it way the hell up, I dropped it. Oh, fuck. Hello? Get her. This is Dasana. You never see her on camera. Well, hello there. Hello, sweetie. Give me attention. What are you doing? Give me attention. Now, I'm not gonna take out the quote-unquote subwoofer. I'm just going to cover it with some tape, just in the off chance that I get paint underneath, which I'm not too worried about. And in fact, I am not even that worried about the sub, but I'm going to mask that as well. So that looks about right. More time than it's worth? Possibly. But it will save me a lot of time from removing the subwoofer and then finding everything to put it back in. I just masked the... Wonderful. Why didn't you tell me?
Because this is good content.
Guess I'm pulling... Guess I'm pulling it off. Okay, take 2.
So what exactly are you trying to do?
I'm trying to make it so that... I don't paint the screen, but honestly, like, I don't think it'll be that big a deal. So with this masked off, we're just going to move on to the other one. Good. Okay. This doesn't really need anything just yet. I'm glad I got it all smooth though. So basically I just... Oh no, wait, you know what? I was gonna paint that. So I'm gonna mask the whole fucking thing. Wonderful. Just wanna make sure I'm not getting any paint on any of the leads or anything that... Because it's gonna be water. It's acrylic, so it's water based. And water on electronics is bad. So I'm taping off all the leads and all that stuff because while I'm not thoroughly worried about it, I really don't want any water getting underneath here. So good. That'll look really cool. Okay, now to get the airbrush put together and time to get some painting. So I've got my paint mixed. It's a nice deep red. And so now it is time for the montage. So I've really enjoyed this build. It's been a hell of a challenge, and I'm excited to finish it up, but I'm also kind of a little bit, not despondent. No, despondent's not really the right word. I'm kind of sad to let it go. It's the same thing as it was with Project Tango and pretty much every other build I've done, but this is different. This is the first laptop I've ever really modified, and so it's always going to have a special place in my heart. Be that said, it's going to look fucking awesome when it's done, and you'll have to check it out in the next video. I'm Hobbs. Thanks for watching. See you in part 3.